school finance from way back in the early 70s through now. And when I do this for CTA or CSBA, we spend an hour on this chart. I'm going to spend about 2 minutes on this chart. And it's all the major events, you know, when Prop 98 came out, when K3 class size reduction came out, when routine restricted maintenance came out. The point I want to take you on this slide is way back when, in the early 70s, California school districts were funded like other school districts in the nation. Meaning the locally elected board had taxing authority, a lot of local control, and you could control locally what you did for the children in your district. Okay, that's a lot of states are like that. A board meeting in Vermont, the whole city comes in, and every single board member, every single citizen gets one vote on the budget. It's true local control. We used to look a lot like that. And then through all these years, and we're out here in 2013, we've migrated to local control to where now we're dependent, you're dependent on the state of California and a little bit on the federal government for your funding, meaning you don't control your destiny on your funding. You're reliant on the state of California, which is reliant on our economy. Okay, so when the economy booms in California, typically school districts do well, meaning they get more money. When the economy collapses in California, they pass that pain right along to the school districts and a little more if you actually look at how much they've been decimated and how much they put on you as a school district. They pass on more than your fair share of pain to your school districts, and that's what you've been dealing with recently. And so just the message on this slide is we went to you entirely controlled your own destiny, to you've been completely reliant on others for your funding, and now we have a new governor who's talking about some other things, trying to get us, we won't get back to where we were there, but there is a thrust in Sacramento of talking about local control, and I'll tell you what that means when we get to those specific slides, okay? And there's a 10-minute story on every bar, so don't ask me about any of the bars or I'll tell you. This slide right here, and I'll just take a minute on this one. Unfortunately, we live in a state, when you measure it by money, does not care as much about public education as other states. When you measure it by money only, okay? I want to be clear on that. I think we care as much about public education as other states, but if you measure it by dollars, we don't do too well. So let me explain what this slide is. This line at the top going across, where these little bars are going up and down, that's the national average that other states are spending on public education, okay? So when you see a little bar that goes up, that was a year where we spend about $200 more per student than other states, okay? You see it down, we're spending less. And this is going to be a gruesome picture for you. Take a good look at me. I'm 51 years old, and I graduated from high school right there. And so anybody who's followed me, I'm 51 years old, has been in a public education system that has been far below what kids in other states are getting. We've really shortchanged education in this state. And so if I went back to the previous chart, you'll notice this is kind of when we went from local control to reliance on the state. So what happened? We fell like a rock. We got a little bit better. This was the dot-com boom. Remember I said, the economy does well, we do well. You know, all those, 25-year-olds became multimillionaires and cashed in. State treasury was full of money. We got better. But look at how we've written it down this far. Now, the source of this graph is NEA, the National Education Association. These are their numbers, and they only have through 10-11. Okay? And so we've lost generations of kids. I mean, anyone younger than me has been in a school district funded far below what others in the nation are funded at. And, I mean, does money matter? There's more to money than test scores, obviously. But is it a coincidence? These are the top highest funded states. Look at these states. Between $16,000 and $22,000 a kid and where we are. So these are the lowest performing states measured by test scores. And these are the highest. And I don't think you can Does money matter? Yes, it's not the only thing. So, anyway, you can see that. And this is how we lag in other ways. There's 50 states, right? So anything close to 50 is a bad number. Okay, 1's good, 50's bad. You know, and we have the fewest teachers per student. We have the fewest classified people per student. We have the fewest administrators. You know, we get funded far less, and so I would argue you're working harder in this district than your counterparts in other states, and a lot of it's that funding. We do more with less in this state, okay? And so that lack of funding has resulted in, you know, not really good numbers if you're trying to compare with other states. And so as we improve, you know, just getting back to where we were in 07, 08, in my opinion, isn't enough. We need to do a lot better. Okay, so that was all state, what they've done to you. This is a chart that kind of highlights how the federal government has been treating you also. I know you serve special ed kids, and so does just about every district in the state. And those kids need specialized services, and they cost more, and that's just a reality of life. And, you know, we need to take care of those kids. But the federal government mandates a level of service. It's not an option for you. They say you must provide these services. You can't make local decisions. I'm going to go on the cheap and not offer a service. You have to offer those services. And the federal government, as part of that requirement, is supposed to fund 40% of that cost. Okay? So they say if you need to spend that dollar this way, they're supposed to give you 40 cents. Well, these lines right here is the percentage they've actually given us over time. So the highest we've ever gotten is like 17%. So they should be giving you 40 cents on the dollar. The highest that's ever been is 17 cents on the dollar. So where does this money come from? It comes from your general fund, your unrestricted general fund that pays almost all your teachers and all your not all of them, but most of your classified, most of your administrators. And so the federal government, and I'm not arguing that you shouldn't do those services or you shouldn't have to do those services. I think those are appropriate services. They're supposed to give you 40 cents on the dollar. The most they've given you is 17 cents. So, you know, you haven't gotten a lot of financial support. And this is happening to every district in the state. Okay? So you got a lot of things going on. Let me just put all these out here. The budget process in California is really an interesting one. It'll make you lose your hair. It's very difficult to plan each year. So I'll just use this as an example. Here we are in the current year, right? And here we are right about here. We're in February. So right now, I'm sure Brian's thinking about the second interim report, right? Well, what's the building block for this year? You're on your ending fund balance. You closed your books last year, and at the ending fund balance now becomes your beginning fund balance up here. So, you know, right about now, even your auditors have finished the work. You probably received the audit in December, updated the fund balances. You're in this year. But where's everybody's head in this room? Probably over here, right? You've heard the governor talk about his local control funding formula. You heard about the passage of Prop 30. Prop 30 passed in this year, and what it did was mean you weren't going to get cut $441. It didn't provide any new money this year. It just said, okay, we're not going to cut you. And so the governor's thinking about those new revenues, and his proposals are out here. So most of you are going to have 3 budgets in your head, and I know that's not pleasant. Having 1 budget in your head is probably not pleasant. And so you're closing out this year, ending fund balance becomes the beginning fund balance. You're in this year, and you're already thinking about next year. And so as far as your budget development goes, almost every head in every district is thinking about this year because you're operating this budget, right? And so in the state of California, the governor comes out in January. That's what we're operating off now. In May, he's going to revise the budget, and then hopefully by June 30th, we'll actually have a budget, and then we'll go into that next year. So this is just an example of the budget calendar. In California, when they removed the local control and we actually went to the state, we went on a per student basis of